Okay, it's been a while since I've recorded a video on this phone. The audio and the camera stuff should be a lot more crisp, I think. I don't know, but it is kind of windy, so I don't know. Because I'm basically having a moment in my head, and I want to document it and kind of like use this as a moment. You know what I mean? So I'm having this moment. I've talked about this here and there in vague moments and whatnot, but there's this person in my life who I feel very strongly, my intuition and whatnot tells me very, very well that this person is not the most honest person, that this person is in denial energy, you know? And I had a moment right before I started recording this. I had a moment where I was responding to a text that he texted me, and he said the word honestly. He was telling me something, and he was like, honestly, and I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, actually, it was out loud. I was saying it out loud. I was like, bitch, don't fucking say that word because you're not even being honest with me. And I'm just like, fuck it. Like, what the fuck? And I was just like, am I in the wrong? Am I crazy? Like, I know that for the most part, it is a narcissist's job to make you feel crazy. That is their MO. Right? But, like, there's also the factor of, like, sometimes these people are not aware that they are lying. They're not aware that they are doing the things that they're doing. You know what I mean? And so there's a part of me that's like, am I fucking crazy? Am I misinterpreting the energy? Am I misunderstanding what's in front of me? You know, because that's a possibility. And I'm like, the thing about intuition is that it is very accurate, but it can also be deceiving if you haven't done the work to like hone in on it and purify it, you know what I mean? And I feel like I have done that work. And I even literally just had a meditation moment, like a 20-minute meditation moment earlier this morning. And now, like, I'm just like, and I don't know, I feel like if anything, this is a moral for whoever's watching. Like, please trust yourself. Like, trust those feelings that you feel in your body. Like, if you've been taking the time to work on yourself and like refine your energy and all that, please understand that you have the permission to trust yourself. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't mean you always need to act on what you believe or what you know, but at the least trust the feeling that you feel in your fucking body. You know what I mean? Like low-key, being a covert narcissist is a lot more dangerous than being an overt, because a lot of the times they don't even really recognize it within themselves that they are this way, at least with most overt narcissists. And I'm saying most because I don't know the statistics on this, but I feel like most overt narcissists have an awareness that they are that way. Meanwhile, covert people, they don't really recognize themselves that way. They probably don't see themselves very clearly. They probably actually believe that they are a victim to some degree. They actually do believe that they are powerless to some degree. But the thing about it is that when you think that you are powerless, that doesn't change the fact that you are not powerless. You are not powerless. You have the ability to breathe, to speak, to make changes in your local community. And that is power. Whether or not you use it does not make the power go away. You know what I mean? And it's like, like, because I literally said this to someone. I was like, you walking around thinking that you're powerless is very destructive. Like, you're not helping anybody by thinking and telling yourself the story of, oh, I'm powerless, oh, I can't do anything right. If anything, it's more destructive. You know what I mean? Because you do have power, you do have influence, you do have the ability to make changes, and you're using that to tell yourself that you're not able to do that. And it's like, but what? I don't know when I'll post this because I have a bunch of videos scheduled for this month. And because this is like one of those chaotic videos, one of those venting videos, I'm gonna probably post this later on so that there's no way that you can, like, you know what I mean, context. So whenever this gets published, just know that this was recorded like at least probably a couple weeks ago. At least a couple weeks ago. I don't know where you are specifically on your journey. I don't know what the energy is, obviously, for whoever's watching this, but what I can say is that as I'm recording, I'm sorry, there was like a burp trying to come through. As I'm recording this, there's been a lot of shifts. There's been a lot of changes in my life and in the collective, I guess. And I don't know, I've been feeling really crazy, partially because I feel a lot. I feel very deeply, very intensely the energies around me and all that jazz, and especially the energy that isn't being processed. You know what I mean? And so, as much as my awareness goes, it doesn't change the fact that I'm in pain. Like, just because I know that the pain is not mine does not change the fact that I'm in pain. You know what I mean? So I've been kind of dealing with that. I've been kind of breathing through that and trying to exist through that. And I don't know, like, there's been some self-sabotage moments, I can't lie. And I just have to trust in the process. I just have to trust that I am doing the right things. Because if you looked at my journal, girl, I've been journaling very intensely. Like, I think at the most, there'll be like a 5-hour gap between journaling entries at the most. And that's very rare. Honestly, the last few days, last couple weeks, like, I've been journaling very intensely through this transition. You know what I mean? Really trying to clock my brain and clock like what's going on, and, you know, and I do heavily encourage people to journal. I feel like I've stopped encouraging people to journal because a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people don't feel like they have the energy or the time, which can be very true. I do most of my journaling on the computer, on typing, like, actually on my phone, I should say, like my memos app. Yeah, period. And I would definitely encourage, if you're watching this, if you're still watching this, thank you for your presence. I appreciate you. I would definitely encourage you to get into journaling if you haven't been, because when you're able to look back at it, like, and thank God for ChatGPT, because this was not a tool 10 years ago, like, available to us, you know what I mean? But if you journal heavy enough and you feed it into ChatGPT, you can ask them to do multiple things, but one of those things, you can ask them to analyze yourself and check out your blind spots, you know. And another thing you can do is have them predict how things will be moving forward. Now, I don't know what goes on in your brain. I just know that I'm a very Virgo person. I'm a very analytical person. I like to think a lot, you know, and it's helped me a lot to analyze myself and to, you know what I mean, track my movements and all that. And I definitely feel like somebody here needs to hear that. Like, like, even if you don't journal every hour of every day, like, just a quick check-in when big things happen, you know, like, maybe you're on the journey to becoming a millionaire. It might be a really good idea to journal and track that journey and be like, you know, here's where my mind was at 7 a.m. Here's where I was at 8:45, and, you know, here's what I was thinking about. Here's what I was focused on. Here's what happened after I was thinking about this, you know, because then you can start clocking the patterns, clocking the, you know what I mean? Because naturally I'm really good at pattern recognition, but you can only do so much when you're existing within your feelings and within your body. So sometimes you need an outside person, and I don't trust people. I do not trust people. I have a few mutuals that I kind of trust, but even then, I don't trust people to read my energy. I really don't. Because people be feeling jealous and people be feeling some type of way, and I don't have the energy for it. I don't have the time for it. So I just, no. But yeah, if nothing else from this video, I hope you know that miracles happen all the time. I hope you know that you are so infinitely loved, even if you don't feel like it, even if it doesn't make sense that I'm saying that, like, you are. And no storm lasts forever, and it's gonna be okay. All right, keep your head up. You got this. You're doing great.